can't take this anymore.
Daddy, are you coming home? Mommy said you are.
I've experienced the unthinkable. I have to escape my mind.
Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
The simple things in life are not easy anymore. Never give up, always look towards the future.
Generation, the energy, the faith, the devotion which we bring to this endeavor will light our country and all who serve it. And the glow from that fire can truly light the world.
Welcome back to the Gigs 911 show. I'm your host, Gigs. Now today we're going to be talking about something totally different. I'm pretty sure this video is going to help out a tremendous amount of veterans and also military active duty members as well. So what we're going to be talking about today is Baker acting yourself at a VA medical facility. Okay. Baker acting yourself at a VA medical facility. Okay. So there's quite a bit of information that I'm going to give you guys today, but I'm going to try to stick to the main point. I ran into a veteran the other day that had recently been Baker acted at a VA medical facility. He kind of told me the story and what he went through and what he experienced. And quite frankly, I think this was a very good situation in a sense, because it goes to show everyone and all veterans that seeking help is not something that you should be afraid of. Seeking help is not something that you should be ashamed of. Seeking help is going to get you the necessary assistance that you need to get through whatever situation you're going through, whether it be a mental situation, whether it be where you're feeling a lot of anxiety, a lot of depression, which is PTSD, and just a large multitude of other things that you may be experiencing as a veteran. So I spoke to this individual, and they recently, like I said, was released from a psychiatric ward at a military VA medical facility about 2 months ago. Okay, and he told me what his experiences were while he was in or at the VA. So basically, what happened, he was having a lot of issues. Now, take in mind, I just want to let everybody know that this veteran is 100% total impairment, has PTSD, and that's primarily what he's been diagnosed for and with. So he has a lot of issues going on. He's not he's not the type of veteran, I guess you would say, that takes himself out of the environment that he's in. He does travel outside, but he was having some issues dealing with sleep, dealing with a tremendous amount of anxiety. And take in mind is also that we are dealing with COVID-19. So that also can heighten or make things worse for people with this condition, with PTSD. I myself have PTSD, so I can definitely relate to what this veteran was talking about. Okay, and I'm also a military service member as well. So this was something that I felt was very informative, and it also helped me. So, if there's any of my other family members that are going through any difficult period in their life that are veterans, I can also now provide assistance through this story. So what happened was he went ahead and Baker acted himself. So this was a few months ago, like I said, and he was worried. He was very scared. He did not know exactly what to expect when he went to Baker act himself. He did what everybody would do, is go on Google and see what the experience is like. And by far, I did that, and I didn't see anything on YouTube or anything on the web that talked about the experiences of being Baker acted. Now, everybody's experience is different. This one I found quite interesting. Usually people have stories of the VA not helping them, of the doctors there not providing any kind of assistance, them getting the runaround. But this veteran actually was assisted and got the treatment and care that he was so desperately seeking. So he told me that he went with his wife, decided to Baker Act himself because of racing thoughts, tremendous amount of anxiety, tremendous amount of depression, and he was having a lot of difficulty sleeping, and coupled with insomnia. So all of these things, and COVID-19, of course. So all of these things pushed him further along that path of I guess, self-destruction, as you would want to call it. So he decided to Baker Act himself. So what he did is he called the PTSD crisis hotline, and he spoke to a crisis personnel on the other end, and they asked him if he was thinking about harming himself, if he was thinking about harming others. These are the typical questions that they ask when you contact them. And all the answers he gave was no. So then they went on to ask what was bothering him, or what he needed to have addressed. And he said that he was not able to sleep for quite a number of weeks. And he felt like he was just kind of like losing his mind. So they stayed on the phone with him. They asked that he turn himself in, or bring himself, or if he can get a ride to the closest VA medical facility, and they will provide, assistance. So from there, he hung up, and he was receiving a phone call every 15 minutes on the hour, or every 15 minutes on the half hour. So they were very, very adamant and very determined to make sure that that veteran was not going to harm anybody, was not going to harm himself. And they wanted to make sure that he was going to make it to the facility that he said he was going to make it to. They even offered to give him a ride there, to send out somebody to pick him up and to drop him at, take him to the facility that he was closest to. So anyway, he ended up getting a ride with his wife. The minute he got there, in the clinic, they immediately brought him in. He was then placed into a wheelchair, is what he told me. One of the nurses pushed him back to the back room. From there, they started asking questions. The veteran immediately broke down, started crying, just let it all out. And his wife was there as well. They immediately pulled his wife to the side and asked her a few questions. Then they said that, she had to, whatever belongings that he had currently with him, they asked that she take them. And then from there, they had her fill out some paperwork. And then from there, she left. So if you are a veteran and you have somebody else with you, they're not allowed to go to the psychiatric ward with you, okay? They can bring you there to get admitted, but they're not allowed to go to the psychiatric ward with you for treatment. So he told me what he did is he left all his belongings with his wife. Now, that's another thing, people. Do not, if you're going to be Baker Acted, or if you're going to Baker Act yourself, or if you're going to have a family member or veteran that is that you would like to have Baker Acted, please make sure that they don't bring any valuables with them, laptop, iPhones, anything of value, because they're not going to be allowed to have those things while they're being cared for at the psychiatric ward. Okay, so make sure that you leave those things in the car or at home. The veteran told me that he did have some jewelry around himself. He did have some personal things, some personal belongings that he had. So what they did is they took all of those personal belongings and they inventoried it, and then they put it in the safe at the VA. He also told me that there was quite a few nurses in there and doctors. He said there was about 3 nurses. He said that there was a medical doctor on standby, and there was also 2 police officers that were outside of the door. So, I mean, you think about it, is that overkill? Probably not, because they don't know what state of mind that veteran was in at that moment. So, if he could have harmed somebody in the hospital, he may have tried to harm one of the nurses, maybe even tried to harm himself. So that's why the police officers were there, to make sure none of that took place. He told me from there, they did test him for COVID before being taken up to the psychiatric ward. All people that are coming into the hospital have to be tested for COVID-19. So once they tested him for COVID-19 and cleared him, he came up negative. He was then placed in the wheelchair and taken up to the psychiatric ward. Now, along the way, I mean, he was having all kinds of thoughts. He was just, scared. He was nervous. He didn't know if they were going to strap him to a gurney and inject him with all kind of different drugs. And I mean, he was really in a panic. But they made him feel very comfortable and made him feel like he was going to get the help that he needed, which he did. He said from there, they wheeled him up there and they signed him into the compound. There were several other veterans there. There were veterans from the Vietnam era. There were veterans from the Desert Storm era. So there was quite a number of veterans already there. And some of them were Baker Acted. Some of them weren't. Some of them were actually contacted by other family members and asked the authorities to bring them in because they felt like they would harm themselves or maybe potentially harm other people. So there were quite a number of people there that he told me. Some not so good, some okay. He did actually run across two people that he said he made some, pretty good friends with while he was there. And they had a lot of issues. He said one guy was addicted to opioids. The other one, I think he had schizophrenia. So there were people in there that did have some really, really tough issues going on in their lives. And at that point, he said that, he felt like his problem was very little compared to what these other individuals were going through. And he asked how long they had been there. And he said that they told him they had been there for like 3 or 4 months. So that right there is just so, I mean, it's very unimaginable to think that a person is in that facility for that long. But you also have to take in mind that some of these people don't have any family members. Some of these people have been on the streets for years. So, their families have, maybe don't know where they're at or anything like that. So it was very disheartening to him to see other veterans in there, that were going through things that, were, I guess, in his eyes, worse than what he was going through. So anyhow, he was wheeled back to the room. And when he got to the room, he looked in the room and it kind of looked like, he told me, like a prison cell without the bars. But he told me that everything was okay. He said the bed was comfortable. He said that he had a bathroom, had a shower in there. The toilet, of course, the toilet was silver, like, what you see in a prison cell, but it was nothing like a prison cell. The staff was extremely helpful. They did put him on a regimen of, like every day he has to get up, take his medicine. So they pull all your medication from the system, is what he told me. And he got 3 square meals a day. He had a social worker. I think he also told me he had a psychologist that came in and spoke to him every single day, twice a day. And it was very, very, he told me it was very, very, a very good experience. They helped him. They actually, since he was having sleep issues, and this veteran does have a sleep apnea machine, they actually hooked him up on the machine to see if there was some kind of issues with the configuration on the sleep apnea device. So they found everything, they fixed it. They went ahead and had 2 nurses or 3 nurses provide shifts to watch him as he slept to make sure that the machine was working accordingly and appropriately. So he got the necessary assistance that he needed. He was quite shocked, actually, to see all of the help that he was getting. Everybody was so helpful. The staff was helpful. And that is exactly what he needed. He needed that assurance that his problem wasn't bigger than the world. So I think that one right there showed him that there are people out there that care. There are people out there that want to help, that want to assist, that want to help you get through those trials and tribulations that you may have experienced, throughout your military career, with PTSD or with sleep apnea, whatever it may be. They gave him the sense of worth, and they gave him the tools that he needed to get better. Okay. Like I said, his short stay there was a learning experience. He told me, he said he has a greater appreciation for life, a greater appreciation for those people that are going through the things that they're going through and continue to try to work on it, to handle and to get back into society and try to function normally as a regular person in society. So he learned a lot. And that experience itself, after hearing all the crazy things about people being Baker acted and so forth, it really calmed his mind and made him realize that if that were to ever happen to him or to anybody else, he would know exactly what to do to provide assistance. Or if it happened to him, he wouldn't have that fear of actually going in. And I think that's what a lot of veterans are going through these days, is that the uncertainty, the not knowing, and the track record of the VA. Okay, it's the track record of the VA that has a lot of people, having the feeling of not having hope for the system and not helping them. Okay, and that's not true. Okay, but anyhow, his experience, he said, was something that he told me he wanted to share. So here I am. I'm sharing it with you. So some of the forms that he said that he was given and had to fill out prior to him being admitted and prior to him leaving was quite a few forms. Not too many, but definitely you can find a lot of these forms on the internet, which is kind of crazy, right? They're not, and at the VA, when you're admitted to the psychiatric ward, there's no DA forms or anything of that nature. They use all the forms that they use can be found on the World Wide Web, on just the regular internet. You don't have to go to va.gov or anything like that to find these forms. You can Google them and pull them up. Okay. So the first form that he that they filled out while he was being admitted or while he was there was the application for voluntary admission of an adult. Okay. This is the first form that was filled out. It wasn't filled out by him. It was filled out by either a nurse or a doctor. So he received that. They put his name, the facility that he was at, the complaint that he was making of not, getting any sleep, suffering from insomnia, anxiety, depression, and so forth. So they annotated all that. Of course, they leave the date and the time and so forth. The next form that he was given upon departure was a general authorization for treatment except psychotropic medication. So basically, they pulled up his VA file, saw the medications that he was on, and those are the medications that the psychiatric ward received, and they gave him on the daily basis that he was supposed to be taking those medicines. So it was a general authorization for treatment except psychotropic medication. So that form was also filled out by a doctor or a nurse, I believe. And in its entirety, all the information was annotated. The last form that he was given, one of the last forms that he was given on exit was a notice of right of person on voluntary status to request discharge from a receiving facility. So that's another form that he received. And this is a discharge form to state that they went over all the things that, the safety requirements, the things that they felt that he came in there to address was addressed, any medications that he may have needed, make sure that he was leaving there with the tools that he needed to function normally in society. Okay. Those are the forms that were given to him upon departure. He also had to fill out what's called a My Safety Plan. So basically, it's a plan that he filled out to identify triggers, risk factors, warning signs, internal coping strategies. So this form that he filled out had to be filled out by him, the veteran, so that they have this on file. So in the event that he does have to go back to the facility, they have it on file and they know exactly how to address the issues that this veteran was receiving. Okay, so quite a bit of information. Like I said, the whole environment was very cozy. He said that they had 3 square meals a day. They were in a very nice, clean facility. A lot of windows. A lot of sunlight coming in, and that also helps with the mental. He said that he had a social worker and also a doctor and a psych doctor. So not only did he have a doctor to look over his vitals and all those things like that, but he also had a psychiatric doctor to speak and a social worker to speak about the issues that he was experiencing and trying to find tools and things that he can get into to address these things. So they were very, very, very helpful while he was admitted, and he felt comfortable. He didn't feel like he was in prison, and he felt he got the adequate assistance that he needed to function or to move on through this process or through this period of his life. So very informative. They did get his wife's number. They updated her. So it is a system, I believe, that is improving. The VA has come a long way, a long way. And this is one portion of the VA that they must work on, and they have been working on. And this veteran is back at home with his family and doing quite well. So, yeah. From there, I think he told me he followed up with his primary care physician at the hospital, and they have a My Care plan that they put him on. So these things, like I said, people are happening. I know that he said that he did a search on the internet and didn't come across any articles or anybody that has experienced it. That's what he was looking for before he admitted himself, because he wanted to know what it would be like while he was there. So he went. I'm glad he did. I'm glad he was able to get the assistance and help that he needed and the medical treatment that he needed to get past this period in his life, you know. So that's pretty much it. I just kind of wanted to share that story. I think this is going to help a lot of other veterans get through the situation that they may be embarking on or maybe going through at the moment. So, yeah. And that's all, people. That is it. And, oh, yeah, also, if you're not a member of Rally Point, please look into it. Rally Point is a tool or a website that is used to link veterans and active duty military personnel together. So if you have not signed up for that yet, or you haven't heard about it, take a look at it. It's a very big community of military service members here in the U.S., and it has a lot of pertinent information on it. And if you are not a member or have not signed up for Rally Point yet, I would definitely encourage you to do so. And that's it. For real, for real. So without further ado, this is the Gix 911 show. I'm your host, Gix. Peace, love, and harmony in 2021. And that's pretty much it, you all. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you found this informative, please remember to give a like. Also, leave a comment. You can also share this video out. I make these videos specifically for veterans. So if you are a veteran or a family or friend or loved one of a veteran, please also share this with other veterans, as this can help anybody that is experiencing any kind of psychiatric issues or anything of that nature. So, yeah, take care. Peace.